finish all the food on your plate?
In this house.
You say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am.
In this house.
You better be home by dark.
In this house.
There will be no talking back.
Y'all know this party gonna get turned out when Uncle Al is in the house.
Skinamarink a dinka doo. How do you do? Welcome, everyone. Thank you for pressing play and lending us your ears, eyes, hearts, minds, and funny bones. My name is Juan, here as always with Mark and Kevin, and we like movies. Sorry, I didn't give you guys your moment.
That's all right. I've had it.
Before we begin, let me remind you, if you are not following us already, please make sure to follow us, subscribe, like, rate, comment, wherever it is that you are consuming this on Apple. I realize it's probably not Apple, it's iTunes. Is it still iTunes?
Yeah, Apple iTunes.
Sure.
Yeah.
iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Good Pods, while also following us on Twitter, Instagram, WordPress. Of course, all of these links are in the episode description. So please, pretty please, with sugar on top, show us some love. Okay. Today's selection is the 2023 horror film Skinamarink, directed by Kyle Edward Ball and starring Lucas Paul, Dali Rose Tetreault, and that's a very French Canadian name, and Ross Paul. If you've never heard of this one, fear not. Let me give you the IMDb synopsis with some added notes. Set in 1995. Two children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing and all the windows and doors in their home have vanished. To cope with the strange situation, the two bring pillows and blankets to the living room and settle into a quiet slumber party. They play well-worn videotapes of old cartoons to fill the silence of the house and distract from the frightening and inexplicable situation. All the while in the hopes that eventually some grown-ups will come to rescue them. However, after a while, it becomes clear that something is watching over them and dwelling with them. Director Kyle Edward Ball described the film as a lo-fi experimental feature horror movie. The style of this film appears to be a take on the quote-unquote found footage horror style. The most famous example of which is probably the Blair Witch Project, though others have done it before and after. Other notable entries into that subgenre are Cloverfield and Paranormal Activity. Although Skinamarink employs this stylistic device, like many other elements of the film, it's not fully explained. There is minimal dialogue and a paper-thin plot. On the surface, it's easy to say that this is all about style and not substance. And again, Skinamarink was directed by Kyle Edward Ball, who previously directed a short film, which this is loosely based off of, called Heck. It was produced by Mutiny Pictures and ERO Picture Company and is distributed by Bayview Entertainment, IFC Midnight, and Shudder. It was released on February 2nd, 2023. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes. It was shot on a budget of $15,000 with marketing on top of that, which might have been fairly significant, but has grossed around $2.1 million. Currently sits at a 71% critic score and a 44% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And the tagline of the film is, "In this house." All right, Mark, this was your pick. Please start us off with your initial thoughts.
Kevin,
Inside joke.
don't watch this movie. This movie, man. You know, I did see the trailer. I did see the trailer, and I forgot about it. But we have officially entered the era of COVID pandemic lockdown movies, because that's what this was. There was absolutely no rhyme or reason to this movie. Someone was bored and said, let me just shoot some random images in my house and let me record some random snippets of audio and see what I can come up with. And we have Skinamarink. I have never felt that an ending of a movie went as long as it did for this movie. Like the last half hour felt like an eternity. It felt like an absolute I. It felt like a week. I saw that it was a minute, an hour and 10 minutes. I was into the movie, so there's 30 minutes left, and I'm telling you, those last 30 minutes, my goodness gracious, it felt like I was watching this movie over days. Um, I don't know what the point or purpose behind any of this was. It was an interesting concept with the trailer and, the random static images, but I didn't
The
think
trailer's
someone would.
incredible.
I
mean,
didn't
I
think. Well, the trailer is incredible, but
it's really good.
I didn't think someone would say, you know what, this trailer was so good that I'm gonna make it a movie. And they said, you know what, this 5 minute or 2 minute trailer was so good, I'm gonna just make it an hour and 40 minutes because it's the same thing, over an hour and 40 minutes. And yeah, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what did happen. Um, yeah, it was just it was tough. It was tough, and yeah, I felt like we are officially entering. We're gonna start seeing all these movies that people shot while they're at home, stuck indoors, and this is the first one. This is the cream of the crop right here. This is this is the definition of lockdown movie.
Mhm.
It's all down the hill from here.
Go ahead, Kevin. Jump in.
Okay.
Push it even more
So
downhill.
I will give this movie credit because it did something amazing that I never thought would happen. It made me long for the movie Zeros and Ones. All right, it made Zeros and Ones look like Citizen Kane. When I tell you, I don't know what I was watching. Um, I don't need. I remember what Christopher Nolan's coming out with Oppenheimer. Oh, how did he recreate the atomic bomb? He played this movie and it exploded. It was hot garbage. It was experimental and it should have been put down. It should have been put asleep. Juan's intro, like when he was doing all those words, probably had as much dialogue as this whole movie. You said it was starring some people, and that's very generous to say it was starring anyone.
100%.
This was something people put on YouTube that I avoid. It's like Chat Roulette, the movie. I'm like, so many images. It was supposed to be a horror movie, so I told my daughters, you can't come in this room. I don't want it. It looks scary. You didn't watch the trailer? Don't come in.
20 minutes in. Come on, guys. Come on. Ain't nothing happening here.
Who's
They were
popping the popcorn?
Dude, they were coming in and they weren't looking. I was like, "It's okay, baby, you can look." They're like, "No," I'm like, "Trust me." Maybe the little phone at the end would have gave him a jump scare and the voice at the end. But literally, 100 minutes of my life I will never get back. It was to call it a hot, burning piece of turd is compliment. I'm like, I'm sorry,
baby.
I'm sorry. I know y'all tried $15,000 and it didn't even look like they put one of it into this. Because,
No,
like I said,
14,000 went into marketing.
Yeah, because it said it reminded him of the things you saw in your childhood and they're supposed to be scary. It reminded me of my childhood when I fall asleep with the TV on and look up. I'm like, hey, look, it's on. I go back to bed.
You wake up at 2 in the morning, you're like,
Yeah.
What time is it?
Yeah. Oh, I do want a sham wow. I'm going back to bed.
I'm gonna make
That's
a movie out of those
all.
5 seconds of
Yeah.
pure like I don't know where I am right now. I'm gonna make a
And I
movie off of that.
and I didn't watch the trailer. Maybe it's good. I'm just going based off. I'm like, all right, let's go. And it was. I thought I was gonna be by myself. I was glad Mark said it too. Just no reason for this thing to exist.
Nah, man,
Mm.
That's my take.
the trailer pulled me in. The trailer is what made me go. I want to see this. I want to see this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys will be happy to know that there are a ton of people online on Twitter that hate this movie just as much as you do. Um, I'm going to
Cheers to that.
I'm going to defend it seminally.
Wait, hold on. Before you continue, so bad. I'm on my second beer and I don't drink, but I needed it for this review.
Heard you.
Not even zeros and ones did that, and
Um,
that's deserved.
so yeah, like
Let's
Mark.
hear this
Well,
defense.
I became aware of this film at work. A coworker of mine, her brother watched it at the movie theaters, and he was raving about it and recommending it to her. I heard her talking about it, so I jumped into that conversation. She pulled up the trailer, and I was like, "Wow, this looks freaking creepy." That voice. I mean, the trailer is it's not even a comparison with the actual movie. I mean, the trailer should be
Well, the
nominated.
trailer is the movie.
Yeah, yeah, that is true.
That's why it's so awesome because it's like, oh man, this seems like this is gonna be creepy.
Hmm.
But little do you know, no, you're just gonna watch this over an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. So I got good. I mean, scary, creepy, freaky vibes from it in the trailer. Um, it displayed the grainy footage, the weird angled shots, which I did not know were going to be, the whole kind of centerpiece of the movie. The repetitive monologue with that deep, haunting voice. So, again, the trailer had a very compelling effect. It's a grindhouse type of trailer, and it's exceptional. Of course, the movie for me also was a disappointment. It was definitely creepy. A lot of the devices that they employ, I felt, are effective in giving us a certain sense of eeriness, but it's very slow. The weird angles get old really quick and annoying. There is not a huge payoff at the end. You really have no idea what happened. You're just full of questions.
And
But
anger.
for me, yeah, for me mainly though, it was difficult to watch, and I know this is not something that is necessarily atypical of horror movies. I feel like even in The Shining and other movies, children are a part of it. But in this one and in this scenario, it was it was because the victims are children, right? And because they're in this experience, and you're for me, I was just thinking about all the trauma that they're experiencing in this story, right? And the loss of childhood innocence. So for me, it made it really hard to kind of cope with that. Just observing the psychological trauma that's being inflicted on them. No one in particular is inflicting it on them. It's potentially demonic forces, but it's hard kind of seeing them alone. They're talking to each other, they're scared, they're confused, their parents aren't around, there's no windows or doors, they have no idea what's going on. And I just couldn't get over just kind of feeling really sorry for them, and just knowing that they really needed comfort. And
Sorry
um,
that they had to do all the work.
yeah, it's like it's
Demon
one
kept saying,
thing.
hey, come to the basement. Come to the basement. Hey, come to the basement.
So that was difficult. And then again, there's just so many things that were unexplained that it's hard as an audience to make any sense of what you've just watched. except for the understanding that the house is haunted and possessed by evil. Maybe, or maybe the kid just has a concussion. I don't know. Hey,
He did
it's a
fall.
legit theory.
He did fall.
Yeah, he could be in a
This
coma.
movie's the story of a concussion. His dad called and said, "Hey, he fell and hit his head, so I don't really know what to do." And meanwhile, the kid's like, "I'm having a concussion, Dad. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things."
So let me ask you, Mark. So you watched the trailer, you've heard of this movie. I know that you were excited to watch this. You're a horror fan. Um, how quickly and at what point did it start to lose you?
It was at the 23-minute mark where I had seen like just the same angle or not no no I've seen I've seen a different angle of the same room for the 30th time, and it's just like I don't really know what's happening. I don't know what's going on and who's doing what and why things are happening. um but I'm really tired of looking at the ceiling. I'm tired of looking at half a TV. I'm tired of looking at the left side of a door frame. Like it's just all those shots just were tiring. And hearing that the audio is just being plugged in really took away from the experience, you know? Um just staring at a wall and hearing something like and then having audio given to you, there's really nothing there after an hour of it, when really after 20 minutes, because I remember pausing the movie going, man, how long has it been? And it was literally 23 minutes. I'm like, man, it's 23 minutes, they're still doing the same thing. Like, this is crazy. And it just got even more infuriating when they incorporated the flashlight. And it's like, who walks around with the flashlight off, just randomly turning it on and pointing it at different things, going, oh, what do I see? Like, it was just so silly. And the suspense went out the window at the 23-minute mark. And that's kind of what killed it for me. So 23 minutes, I was done.
Would it have been better for you if, because one thing that bothered me was, I mean, it is shot in like a found footage format,
Which I'm okay
but
with.
but it's not though. Like, but it isn't. Like, no one is recording. Like
Right.
it as part of the story.
Right.
So if perhaps you know the kids, this is supposed to take place like in 1995, right? So if they're like, oh, there's no doors or windows, let's go get dad's camera, and
Yeah.
like if they connected, tied that in somehow, and even just created more of a narrative, of maybe them exploring or whatever, um would would that have improved it a bit,
Oh,
you think?
100%, man. 100%, because that anything that they would have done besides what we got would have made, and this is a spoiler for the end, but it would have made the mustard stain at the end a little more, interesting. But, we spend the last 5 minutes of this movie just looking at a yellow dot on the screen going, okay, I mean, what are you
Face.
trying to
It's a
tell me?
face, Mark. It's a face.
Was it
It's
a
the
face?
Skinamarink.
Listen, bro, you ready for this? Because I read this and I watched it on my iPad. I'm going to reenact me for the hour and 40 minutes. You ready? Is that someone? No.
Hey, at least they had subtitles for you.
Is that?
For the 5 words.
It literally would say like TV playing.
I I I really think that I think by the end of it, I was just so drained because I was looking for things like where's Waldo? Like,
Yeah.
okay, you're showing me the ceiling. Is something gonna happen? Oh
Yeah.
no, nothing happened. Okay, now you're showing me the floor with Legos. Is something gonna happen? no, nothing's gonna happen. Okay,
Yeah.
so now you're sure, like, and it just so the whole time I'm like, okay, you're gonna show me something, and I actually had to rewind the part where they showed like a little. There was a door frame, and they showed kind of like a little. I don't even know what it was, but it was like a little hand. I just saw a little black print come out like this, and I was just like, I don't even know what that was. And no lie, I rewinded it like 4 or 5 times, and again like yeah, I can't. I don't know what that is. I don't know. So it's just the concept. While it was so intriguing, they decided to go. You know what? This concept is so intriguing that that's just the movie. That's the movie. That's it. We're gonna take this found footage and we're gonna go. But like, who found the footage? Like, whose perspective are we looking at? The demon side of it? Are we looking at the kid side of it? Are we looking at the parent side of it? Is the parent dead and just laying in the house and we're just like I don't know. I don't know whose view we're seeing this from,
Hmm.
and it's just again what was a cool idea. You can't you can't make a movie into a cool idea. It doesn't work that way.
Well, and it was a cool idea with some. I felt that there were some effective moments in what they were going for, right? So I think this movie, probably where critics are coming from, in analyzing this, is in those words that Kyle Edward Ball himself said in an interview, where he said this is a lo-fi experimental feature.
Yeah,
And the experiment is in not necessarily what the story, because there is no story, but where it's minimal story, but it's in what the sensation that you're experiencing as you watch it.
it's
Um,
watching it in the cinema, being around all these
well,
people,
dude,
experiencing
that's
the same thing.
exactly what I thought. I was
That's what it
thinking,
is.
but not a full theater, like a theater where there's a
It does.
few other
You can be
people.
myself. Yeah, you can be
Yeah,
myself.
like there's a few other people, or it's half full, and we're all just like, bro, this is creepy, like it's dead silent. And then at the end, everyone's like, "What the hell?"
Walking out like, come
Yeah,
on, man, what
yeah.
did we just watch? Yeah. But
But
you lose that
but
experience, because I
yeah.
didn't watch this in the theater. I did not.
Hmm.
Once I saw it was available on streaming, I said, "Oh hell yeah!"
Yeah.
So I'm starting to learn that we're kind of robbing ourselves of that experience of being in the theater, because I think if we were all sitting together watching this, we probably would be rating it at least 1 point higher just for that experience alone.
Hmm. And I felt one of the most frustrating things about the movie was that the way these shots are set up, it's like it's set up perfectly for jump scares that never come.
Yeah.
There was only one. I felt like there was only one when they
There.
showed the no eyes and no face. Only
Okay.
because they did the loud screeching. Like it went from
Hmm.
this to like that. I was like, oh, that's kind of cheap. But that was the only one. I was expecting another one after that, and that was like 45 to an hour. I mean, that was
Hmm.
further into the movie.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you spend so long waiting and anticipating that scare, whether it be a jump scare or natural or whatever, or just creepiness. But you
Hmm.
spend so long waiting for it. Like when it finally happens and that's what you get, it was just like, I remember it went off. I went, whoa, oh, all right. Well, whatever. Okay. That really, I don't even know what that was, but okay. So even that wasn't even beneficial, when they
Hmm.
finally showed something. Um, so I really think that they were like, you know what? The eeriness and the creepiness and the feel of this movie, we're just going to embody that, and we're making a movie off of that feeling. Period. Because that's
Hmm.
all it was. That's all it was. The clicking of the flashlight, like it was all unsettling. But
Yes. Perfect word.
I'm 38 years old, so that kind of wears off after a while. And if I was a younger, like I feel like maybe this might have been made for those teenagers, in the world now, and they're the ones that they're feeding into this, and they're like, and that's cool and all, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a missed opportunity. I really do think that this whole found footage genre would be great for horror. Um, but give us a perspective. Give us, if we're sticking with someone, then let's stick with that person. So while it felt like this was a found footage movie, it just, we don't know whose footage we found.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from Kevin, because at this point, I think he's looking
boy
up
falling
YouTube
asleep over there.
videos while we talk.
No, I'm just
Looking
I'm
like a
just listening.
Nintendo Switch over there.
Like I wanted to agree because that's all it is on my everything. I'm like, I found myself. They kept showing the ceiling, and I would look at my ceiling, and I would like, ooh, I gotta clean up there. Like, that's all I would do. I'm like,
Maybe I'll see a demon.
I'm
That'll be more exciting than this movie.
But listen, so I'm,
He pulled out a Ouija board, trying to conjure something to pass the time.
like,
I'm gonna haunt myself just to spice up my life right now.
I fought so hard to focus on this movie. But if y'all may indulge me, I'm gonna read my notes to y'all real quick. All right, it literally this, and so begins my journey into this movie. Let's see how it goes. Next one. Oh, 1995 is when this takes place. That year was my jam. Next.
NBA jam.
Next. I'm digging the old school opening credits. My next note and my last note is, oh no, I can't. That's what I did like when they were doing the credits, because they had it's the same scenes as the rest of the movie, but it worked for the credits. So I'm like, this is going to be good, because they were just showing parts of the house. I'm like, oh, this is tight.
It was very grindhouse-ish,
Yeah, but then it didn't stop, and that was the problem. And like I said, there was no narrative. Like, I learned more from Juan's description of the movie in the beginning, because I didn't know they grabbed bags and went to the living room. I'm like, I didn't know any of that.
No,
I was just like, these are kids. I'm like, their dad's gone now.
I don't even know what time of day it was.
Yeah. Well, it was just, like I said, it was just hard for me. I'm like, and I tried to give it a chance. I'm like, don't poop on this. Even when Juan was talking, it's like, oh, what he said, the problem was the experiment. I'm like, the problem was when he called it a film. That was the problem. And I know those are all jokes, but like, like I said, I would never recommend this to anybody. It's hard to pick out anything that was good of it. I'm like, there was so much potential, especially nowadays with most of the movies, even the bad ones, have some good shots. I'm like, oh, like we've said it, oh, this was shot beautifully. Like, it wasn't, it was just, like, and again, if they would have switched some stuff up and not repeated everything. And again, the only thing I come back to, it was this chat roulette, the movie. Like, just scenes, flip it, scene, flip it, scene. I'm like, okay, that's it.
Nah, man. I think you're being harsh. I think there was some decent stuff in this movie. I liked the shot with the chair upside down. Of course, that's been done before, but the way that it was timed, I thought that was good. I liked what was happening with the Legos, especially when they were all piled up. I thought the scene in the bedroom where you don't know, is the mom gone? Is she dead? Are they divorced? Or all of a sudden it looks like she's there in the bed, but you only see her back. That was really, really creepy, that whole conversation. The moment where the kid is told to stab himself in the eye, the 911 call. Like, I thought all these were good moments. I guess for me, the biggest problem is that there was no payoff. No questions were answered. At one point, it flashes 572 days or something like that. And you're like, what? What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I need more. What does that mean?
I was going to bring that up.
Oh.
I thought I
So-
was watching a different movie after that.
And-
Like, I literally stopped going, 572? What the hell happened?
And-
The kid's been in
Yeah.
this house for 572 days.
He's like, we've been in here a long time.
Yeah, what have they been eating? Whatever. But like I said, and I
I'm
will
hungry too.
I will freely admit, like, by the time all that started rolling in, I had no interest. There was nothing that grabbed me from this movie at that point. So things were happening. I'm like, okay, they're happening. On my, you know what I mean? I'm
No,
like,
the most interesting shot was when, well, I feel like most interesting shots were when they were showing towards the end where everything was upside down and he was
yeah,
walking, through the house, and that's when they showed the Legos. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea what that was implying. Um, the shot ends up like going farther down along a road.
Mhm.
Didn't know what the hell that meant either. Um, but just that whole like build up, those 15, 20 minutes of the whole him walking through the house and everything's upside down, and you start realizing, oh wait, he's like about to step over the ceiling lamp. Like, why? Oh, wait. Oh, that's upside down. Like, that whole unfolding, and then the Legos. That was interesting, but then it just made me kind of like sit back and go, I don't know what's happening. What was that for? Like, what? They didn't even show like anything with the Legos. Like, again, this is me. Did I okay? Is anyone in the Legos? Like, I don't see any. Like, I don't know. It's a cool shot, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Um, so yeah, like I think this was just a concept movie because you're telling me that this
Mhm.
guy is like feeding off from another movie. I bet you if we go watch that movie, it's another concept movie. He's like, oh
Well,
man, I think this is pretty cool. He did it, and then oh yeah, well, it's not that great, but it's a pretty cool concept.
yeah, and during the fun facts, I'm going to tell you what fed into the short film that traces it
That's
all the
it.
way back to its roots. But no, I mean, you're right. It is an experimental or conceptual. The experiment is immersion. I think for the most part, it does that effectively. So for me, it felt like a cool idea that just didn't fully bake, and unfortunately, it made it slow, long, and dull.
Yeah.
But I actually think that Kyle Edward Ball, even though if you watch an interview, is kind of a quirky guy. I think he was homeschooled. He's Canadian, but he, for me, this
Homeschool's
does
definitely quirky.
for me, this does display that I think he's an intriguing or interesting filmmaker with some promise,
Yeah, yeah,
and an interesting and bold voice that's at least willing to try new and creative things. So, like, if this is his first time out and before this was a short film, I'd love to see what he's able to do in 10 years, right?
yeah,
Or once he's able to bake this fully, or transform it into what it ultimately can be. Um, um, Again, it just requires too much patience and sort of mental
too much
flexibility
payoff.
from the audience
Yeah,
that and an audience is again, especially today, most audiences are just not eager to invest that much into something that ultimately at the end doesn't deliver anything
yeah,
satisfactorily at all. But I think an interesting point is, again, I think that if I hadn't watched that interview and heard him, or read descriptions that said that this was experimental, then I would probably be a little bit harsher about my critique of it. And to put it into context, right? So recently I watched an independent film, and um, the film was okay. We've done a short film too. That short film is okay. We shot it on no budget. The film that I
that works
watched
great.
the film that I watched was shot on a $5,000 budget. It was shot in 6 days, so there was financial restrictions, there were time restrictions, there were COVID restrictions. So I do think that movies like this, if we judge them the same as Hollywood studio movies, or even movies with bigger budgets, then we're always going to say, "Oh, that sucked. That was a waste of time." But if we bring these other factors into consideration, of saying like, "Oh man, your budget was 5,000. Okay, so maybe you would have wanted the acting to be better, or maybe if you would have shot it, like I could, the movie that I watched, without knowing those things, or even this one, right? You brought up the point, like it was it was just set in one location, right? And again, this is kind of an odd example because this definitely seems like exactly what they were going for. But like the other movie I watched, like if they had a bigger budget, I'm sure they would have added more locations. You know, I'm sure they would have done more with costumes, right? So it just kind of taught me a lesson that for maybe indie things or experimental things or unknown names or things like that, I do think that to be fair, you have to take some of these
Well,
things into consideration. Go
wait,
ahead.
this is what I'll say. Like, I judge a movie by if it entertains me. I don't care if it was shot. I've seen a ton of indie movies, ton of movies that were shot for like piss poor budgets, and that I thought people probably would hate. But I'm like, hey man, this movie was really, I liked it. I've seen movies that were shot in one location. You know what I mean? From like the '50s, like the Petrified Forest with Humphrey Bogart. Love it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying these people are Humphrey Bogart actors. I'm just saying I've seen all that. To me, like there was nothing that. And again, this is not to diss him. You know what I mean, Kyle? You know what? He may go on to have a phenomenal career. You know what I mean? It's just whatever this movie that he put in front of me did not entertain me, did not hook me, did not grab me. You know what I mean? And again, like there's a couple of things that I'm like, hey, look, I'm like, all right, that was kind of cool, but that was it. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's narratively that's what I go for. You know what I mean? There was nothing there, and again, I may not, I may just not be the audience for it. I'm not the big experimental type of movie watching guy. And again, that's the only judgment. I don't care if you made it for 200 million or if you made it for $5. You know what I mean? It's just, are you telling a story? Can I connect with anyone? Do I resonate with anyone? Am I rooting for anyone? And there was nothing. Like it really was hard for me. And maybe that's what the experiment was. Maybe it was just so hard for me to just stay with it and hook me. Or maybe that's the lesson he taught me.
I was hooked. I was hooked, and then I walked into an empty room. That's what it was. I was
And
told
maybe
there's
if
going
I
to be
saw
a
the
menu
trailer,
party.
yeah. If maybe if I saw the
What?
trailer, I would have been like, yeah, okay, I'm ready for this.
Yeah, man. I mean, the trailer set up the creepiness, the eeriness. Like it was like, man,
Hmm.
this is a horror
Or
movie.
or maybe I
This
Well,
would
is
have
a
been
horror
more.
movie.
Maybe I would have been more upset if I saw that trailer at the movie that we got.
Yeah, no, for
well,
sure. I feel like you would have been more upset.
and something that's interesting about what we said earlier, right? So the guy at my job who watched it and was really raving about it. He saw it in theaters, and he
Mm-hmm.
told the girl who's his sister, he was like, "Don't stream it. Go watch it in theaters."
Yeah,
She just didn't find someone to go with her,
yeah.
so that's what she
I
went with.
really think the people who do like it, it's because they had that experience in the theater, and
Hmm.
like, I mean, because that movie is quiet. There's not a lot
No,
being said. It's a lot of silence. So if you're like with people who you don't know, and especially someone who just kind of reacts to everything. And when, with that jump scare, they jump out like the whole experience. You laugh at that person. You're like, oh man, that was trippy. You lose that. You lose that theater experience. And that's a big thing. Like, I don't think people view the theater as a big thing,
no.
but I mean, it's a whole different experience.
Hmm.
Now there is something I meant to tell Juan too, but I am working on a piece for our website about the.
Okay, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And, well, but it is a great point because even this week there are a few studios that have come out and said we are moving forward. We're focused on cinematic releases and
Mm.
theater releases. We're not doing streaming and theater, or like our focus moving forward is the theater experience. So a lot of people are crediting Tom Cruise for uh, sparking that change.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn on that. Like, while I love the theater experience, I really do love being home and
Mhm,
watching a movie.
mhm.
Like when I heard that Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves was on Paramount Plus, I was like, "Hold the phone! That's crazy!"
Yeah, but at
Um,
the same time, you're not going to watch Dune 2 at home or Oppenheimer at home. You're going to the theater to
I
watch those.
li- listen, man. With a kid and the way my life is structured right now,
Yeah.
if they make it available on streaming, real talk,
Oh,
I might just take up streaming only because the convenience
man,
side. That's it. I'll
man.
go to the theater every day, bro. I'll live in the
No,
theater.
yeah. I thought Juan said Doom 2. I was like, Doom 2?
You saw the Onion put out a something about Dune 2. It said Dune 2 is coming out just in time for viewers waking up after falling asleep from Dune 1.
Dude, I love that movie. It's
So
so good.
good.
I have to
It's
watch.
so good.
Haven't watched it yet.
Oh
I don't.
man, it's
I
good,
don't have
man.
that
I
much time.
I enjoyed it. Have you seen Dune at all?
I've seen the old Dunes.
Any Dune movie? Then you'll
Yeah.
enjoy it then. You'll
No,
enjoy it.
I think I like it. I just don't have. I haven't seen the Batman either. I just don't have time to sit down and
What?
see something. I
Batman's
know.
so good, bro.
I
Anyway,
tried
sorry.
getting us to review it so I could watch it, but
We're going off topic. My bad.
There was an element of this, again, also experimental, but the sort of because it's immersive and it's also in some ways again because you don't have questions answered or things happen that are inexplicable, like that 911 call. That for me was the biggest moment where you're like, oh man, something might actually happen. We might actually be on the right track here for something unfolding or developing. The kid's on
Yeah.
the phone with a 911 operator. She's asking him all the right questions. She's trying to get information so that they can send someone. He's saying that, he cut himself or he got hurt. And then bloop, they hang up. Nothing he like drops the phone. Nothing happens. I think the phone changes then into like a toy phone. No one's. I spent the
Uh,
next 20 minutes waiting for sirens. That never came. So in that sense, though, I mean that I did feel frustration at that point.
yeah.
That element reminds me of the 2000 film Funny Games, which is all
Mm,
about torturing the audience.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
felt like it had an element of that too, which again, it's torture for the audience. You're not. It's not supposed to be an enjoyable experience.
I feel like for Skinamarink though, that was unplanned, the way that worked out and the
Yeah,
torture side of it.
yeah,
Because I
maybe.
really think that they just were like, man, I think the idea of us not showing a lot, but implying that there's a lot behind this, people are gonna eat that up, and it is enjoyable for 25% of the movie, but after that it's just like, nah, man, I'm tired of the appetizer. I need a full course meal right now. That's what it
I
is.
need to lick my chops.
Dude, I was laughing when at the end when they were showing that smudge on the screen and you hear the kid, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is so stupid." Like you don't even they are really not going to give us anything. Everything is up in the air. Whatever you think, what do you think happened? That's what happened. So I don't like movies like that. I don't. Those are very frustrating. Like if you're gonna give me something, I don't mind you giving me the freedom to think about certain things, but for you to tell me that the whole movie is up to me, no, that's not. No, that's then let me
Create your
then
own
where
adventure.
yeah, where's my money? I made the movie myself then. Okay, well then I need to be paid for this. Where's my reimbursement? I created the end of this movie because y'all didn't want to. It's whatever
He's
you
gonna
want it to
build.
be.
He's gonna build a studio.
Build a bear, I'm gonna build a damn movie, man. Give me my money.
Bill, Bill the producer.
Yeah, I
Um,
always I always laugh at these episodes because I'm like, man, given the opportunity to make a movie, would we make something that's even half decent? Like real
I,
talk,
we would. We would.
we would, yeah. With our
Come on.
with our with our heads combined.
Come on. A Perfect Day was great.
award winning.
Award winning A Perfect Day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's such a
Hey, not
perfect
many
day.
people write a film that's shown at festivals.
Hey, man, if we keep talking about it, people are gonna start asking. We're gonna have to start showing it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, we could do
The
an
hope.
we could do an episode where we just watch it live with everybody.
Oh boy,
Um,
it's
but
gonna never flood.
something that I did again that I do credit Kyle Edward Ball is I do like his. Are you doing? Is there sound effects or are those your children? I
I
really
believe those.
okay. I
I
just
believe
didn't
those are
know
my
if you were
children.
That
tapping sound
that
effects
is
there.
that is the wolf pack. They are thriving right
They're like
now.
they're like howling upstairs, and they should be in bed.
I
So I
hear
don't
him,
know
bro.
what.
Oh. Well, the Kyle Ball during the interview, he was talking about how it was experimental and how he's aware that some people don't like it. And I liked his perspective where he's like, that's okay. Film is a subjective experience. So I like that he wasn't like, well, those people are stupid. He was like, yeah, I mean, some
They
people are
can
not
go
going to
play
like it. Some
traffic.
people will get it, and that's fine. So, all right,
Yeah.
that's the end of my notes. I've got some fun facts, but yeah, do you guys
Not a
have
happy
any
ending.
other thoughts?
I'm actually really curious to see how fun these facts are gonna be, considering what I watched.
You're
Wait,
gonna like them.
is this Edward Ball person? Is he dead? Because it looks like at the beginning of the movie they mentioned something like
Oh, some person. No, I wasn't
No,
there.
his
for our
assistant
friend.
director and best friend. I literally
So
just
okay, it
read that.
wasn't
Like
him.
his assistant. No, it was like his
Oh,
best
okay.
friend and the guy who had all the audio on his computer. So maybe that's why I wasn't in the movie.
I didn't
Jeez.
know how to unlock his computer, so they only had half the audio to work with. That's terrible. R.I.P. R.I.P. My bad.
Hold on,
That
all
damn
right,
cloud lock.
all right. Juan, is it time?
Yeah, sorry.
It's time.
Fun facts with Juan.
Fun fact number one: part of the inspiration for the film came from a YouTube channel called Bite Size Nightmares, where Kyle Edward Ball would take comments that people provided in which they described nightmares that they had, and then he would recreate them. And
Mm.
a child stuck in a house with a monster was a common one that kept coming up.
With no doors or windows, or did he just add that?
I'm sure that was part of
I
somebody's
just
nightmare. It
I
was
call that YouTube.
hence the nightmare
Interesting.
became the experience.
You think
Number
someone
two.
in YouTube's gonna
Another
go, "Oh
one.
man, that was my idea, and this guy totally took it, so I'm gonna sue
Oh
him."
yeah, he's also sending the producer a bill as we speak. Number two. This was filmed in Kyle's childhood home, and most of
I
the
knew
toys
it.
are
I
his
knew it.
childhood toys.
I knew it. And it was 2021.
Dude,
He
he's
was
like one of
stuck in his
those
house.
he's like that scene in Ace Ventura. None of this animal goes to waste.
The most impressive thing is he has all his childhood toys, like all of
His
them.
room is his room is still the same. Everything's the same.
His mom has preserved them.
Another
That
one.
house is stuck in the 80s, man.
Number three, in an interview, Kyle Edward Ball stated that he spelled the movie's name slightly differently than the song the movie is named after, so kids wouldn't accidentally find his movie when searching for the song, and then never go on to never watch any of his future movies after that. But now, trick love the kids.
But like, didn't he just remove one N though? It's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, I know.
It's
An attempt was made.
listen, man. It might be enough. Who knows? Maybe he did the research and did
Another
a
one.
search.
You guys tell me
Boy,
how
lost
accurate
Cardinal Kid.
this sounds. But the film has only 500 words of dialogue, not including the cartoons.
That's high, bro.
Yeah,
I'm going
that's
over on
impressive.
that. I'm going over.
Taking, you
That's
taking the under.
I mean, yeah, I'm taking the under.
Mhm.
That's bro. Unless they're considering the mother groans as dialogue, because that was not dialogue. Yeah, no, 500 sounds like a lot.
I think I would believe it more if it included the cartoons.
Mm,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Because wait, how many words did Keanu say in John Wick 4? Wasn't it like 300 something?
Three, yeah.
Like,
It's
yeah,
like
I feel like
300.
this has less than he spoke in that movie.
Just about. Just about.
Another
I think
one.
that I remember
No, that's
reading
it.
some about his longest
Another
line of
one.
dialogue in John Wick 4 was talking about like how they used to be friends, and that was like the longest line. But
Loving
yeah, no,
husband.
huh?
Loving
I love
husband.
it.
That was
I
his
love it.
longest piece of dialogue.
Love it.
Kevin, do your Keanu
That's
Reeves
pretty good.
impression again.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think I'm back.
yeah.
It's good. All right, that is it. Should we
Wait,
go?
wait. Are we
Whoa, whoa,
labeling
whoa.
this my pick?
I
Yeah.
know. He threw it on you so fast.
'Cause now I got zeros and ones.
No, this was
and
totally your
Skinamarink.
pick. You
Why?
wanted to do.
Listen,
We
he
have
was
wanted
a
on
to do.
list,
No,
but
you
I
wanted to
just
do Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is not available yet. So I said, Mark, what about Skinamarink? And you said, oh yeah, let's do it, Skinamarink. And it was
I
your
bet
pick.
I
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was agreeing with you because I
It
was
was
like,
off
oh
your.
yeah, I want to see that.
It was off that master list you made.
Yeah, that we all agreed on.
Listen,
I
we all
just-
agree it wasn't my pick. That's all.
It's just that my reputation is just becoming more tarnished, and
No,
so
no, you don't have to worry about that. That happened a long time ago. Zeros and ones.
Yeah,
But
that's
see-
what he's saying. He doesn't want both of the model.
that's what I'm trying to tell you.
He doesn't want
Yeah,
both
man.
states.
This one.
Well, you
should
gotta take
be-
one for the team.
That's fine.
This was a
Take
group
one for the
pick.
team. No,
Um,
no.
Biggity bonus question. Kevin, you're up first.
Oh,
Wait.
man.
Go ahead.
It's the Skinamarink challenge. If you were stuck in a house where the doors and windows disappeared, whose house would you want to be stuck in? And who would you want to be stuck with? Anyone in the world.
Dude, you said it like some MTV show from the 2000s. Whose house would you want to stuck in? All right. Well, first of all, I don't know if there's a cop out. My house, my kids.
Ah,
No, like I don't know how to answer this. I'm like, I don't want to. I would want to be stuck in my house with my kids.
you're
My-
a single guy. You're a single guy. There's a sea full of fish out there.
So you're telling me I should pick a pair of ovaries over my kids?
Because
for
it's
the-
make believe. Sure,
For
go
the
ahead,
sake
bro.
of this
Goodness
game,
gracious.
for the sake of
You know,
this
it's like
Listen.
we're gonna walk up to your house tomorrow and going, "All right, man, this is what you said you wanted, so we're gonna take your kids."
Well, listen.
Listening.
It's the most PG, audience-friendly answer I can give. That's it.
Okay.
I can give another. You know what? Let me have another beer.
Thanks for not playing.
Hold on. Listen, I'm 2 beers in. I'm starting to get a little buzz. I'm gonna grab another beer. I'm gonna hear your answers, and then Then maybe I'll revisit this answer. That's it.
That's kind of a cop out.
Listen, I'm gonna get a beer. Hold on.
Straight up. This guy's leaving. He's leaving the stream to go get a beer. That's how I know he's drunk. That's how I
Now we
he's
know
drunk.
you're recording this in the kitchen because he just took 2 steps to the refrigerator.
Oh, well, no, it's on my table in my living room because I just bought these.
Okay. Mark, do you want to take a stab at it?
Yes, for me, 100%. I would like to spend a night in Cronenberg's house, David Cronenberg.
The director?
Yeah.
No, his
You know,
buddy at the pharmacy.
you know why? You know why? Because he's
Why?
so weird and trippy that I feel
Mhm.
like his house alone would freak me out more than this demon that's possessed this house.
Okay. Who are you staying with?
With him, of
With
course.
him, he wants to be
Oh,
with
with
David
David
Cronenberg.
Cronenberg.
Yeah, man.
All right. Okay, I did not see that one coming.
Well, because he's a weird dude, so like.
First of all, I didn't even think you were gonna make it through pronouncing his name.
I'm not the one that's drunk over here walking off
What's his,
stream
what's
to go get
his
more
name?
alcohol. His name's actually John Cronenberg.
David Chromeo Man Burger.
Wasn't expecting that.
All right, for me, I actually just watched a 60-minute interview with Nicolas Cage, whose house is extremely interesting. He's got exotic animals in there, bunch of old movies. So I would stay in Nicolas Cage's house, and I would stay with Jimmy Butler because right now he is the man, and he's so
Sounded
much
like you
fun.
want to do some things with Jimmy Butler.
We would have a ton of fun, bro. We would have
A
a
bunch of
ton of
cocoa
fun,
butter.
I
dude.
bet you would.
We would
What's
have
that cocoa butter?
we'd have so much fun exploring that house, and talking about
Exploring
how great a
more than
basketball
just a
player he is.
house.
All right, let's see what Kevin has come up with now.
He's got
Okay.
nothing.
I'm
He's
gonna
got
have
nothing.
I mean, our answers were
I
pretty wholesome.
want to
Pretty
spend a
wholesome.
night with Jack Daniels.
So you don't got to go X-rated here, but you can give something a little bit more exciting than
I want
my
to
house
spend the
with my
night with
dog.
Jim Beam.
First of all, nothing is more exciting than my girls.
He's just trying to prove that he's a better dad than the dad from Antlers.
I'm a better dad than all of those movies. I'm a better dad than the dad from this movie. I'm saying I'm
The
not
best
better
Wow.
dad than this
The better
movie. Hold
man.
up.
Hey,
Better
bro.
than this movie.
Listen, man. At the end of the day, who's to say the dad's not the demon, bro? I don't know. I don't know. You don't know,
Ooh, that's deep.
right?
Oh, it could be. Yeah, that's a theory. Or there's also another theory that there was sexual abuse in play. Yeah.
They just made the movie worse.
Yeah.
I think the kid's in a coma. He fell down a flight of stairs.
Boy got a concussion. They don't fall asleep after concussion. He fell asleep.
Well, I mean, actually, one of them's a girl.
Yeah, there's a boy and a girl. Yeah, Kaylee
Yeah.
and Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
You not remember?
Kevin.
Kevin.
All right.
Mark's got footage from the film that he's broadcasting.
Come to the basement.
In their house.
Those are deleted. Those are deleted scenes. Sorry, wait. We
Go,
have
Kevin.
cookies. He's got nothing.
Bro, you got
He's
nothing.
got nothing.
I know. I'm
With-
thinking of no.
with all this prolonging.
The only house that was ever cool to me, like, why would I want to stay in anyone else's house? The only other house that was cool was, like, I think when Shaq had, like, a house that had one room that was just a bed. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But that's about it. Like,
Okay, that's a good answer.
Like-
Shaq's house.
like Shaq's house. But then I'm trying to think of who I'd want to hang out with, and there was nobody famous or
Johnny
super-
Depp.
Like, I thought Johnny, but Johnny's kind of, I don't know, man. He's ever since Amber Heard, like, there's something broken.
I
in
know,
him.
man.
He's a good
Some
time,
bro-
bro.
There's
He's
some
a good
abuse
son.
there.
Yeah, like he got domestically abused, bro. Like legally, he won the court case. There's something wrong up there, but there's got to be some fun person. You can just pick. You know what? I want to stay with Kanye because I feel like that would be crazy and fun
That's a good one.
in Shaq's house.
Houseway.
This guy. All right, fair enough.
Why this guy? Why this guy, Cronenberg?
All right.
Because he picked a basketball player and a rapper.
Okay.
Well,
So
Shaq is more than a basketball player.
he picked an actor
He
and
is-
a basketball player.
He's a global brand for
He's an entrepreneur.
Papa John's and some laser printer.
24-hour
No,
fitness.
The
Icy hot.
general. The general insurance, bro.
The
The
general.
icy hot commercial. All right. I think we came here to talk about Skinamarink, and we did that. Now we will go to our ratings before we sign off. So, Mark, was this your pick or mine? Because that'll dictate who goes first.
I mean, considering that I went first, I think you've already put it on me that this was my pick. I think you even said at the beginning that this was my pick. That boy put a stamp on it. Yeah. So yeah, it's me. So I'm gonna go first then. I can't give this a 1 because I do like the small moments that we had in the first 20 30 minutes of the movie. So I think that alone is foundation enough for me to say that this is 2 little Jerry's. Just 2.
We rate here on a 1 to 5 scale. You're loud over there.
1 to 5. 1 to 5.
1 to 5, little scary.
Little scary Jerry's. Little scary Jerry's, baby.
Little scary terrier, man.
Hey, it's fitting for Skinamarink. Little Jerry scale, where 1 is the worst and 5 is the best, and everything in
1
between.
is zeros and ones, and 5 is another round.
That was a 2 for Mark. Again, I will go next. For me, I think it's fair. I'm going right down the middle. There were some things I liked. There were some things I did not like. Overall, I would say fair attempt, and I'd like to see what Kyle Edward-Ball is able to do when he's got a few more tries to do it. So for me, this is a 2.5 out of 5 for Skinamarink.
Hey, but before Kevin goes,
Okay.
why do you insist on calling him Kyle Edward Ball?
That's his name, bro.
It's his
That's his
regal
name.
name.
I mean, at this point, just call him Kyle. Just call him Kyle.
Or Mr. Ball.
Or Mr. Ball if you're nasty.
No, it's like C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien. Like that's their name.
All right.
He's going with Kyle Edward-Ball.
This guy took Kyle Edward Ball and put him in the same map as C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien. Okay.
You
Also,
bastard.
as a man with a middle name that I love, I prefer my middle name over my first name. I like someone that's like, I want to use my full name.
All right.
I respect it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Mr. Kyle Edward Ball. Ladies and gentlemen.
KEB.
All right, Kevin, go ahead. Sorry.
All right.
Kevin Louis.
Yeah, why you put that out there?
No one knows. You could have denied it,
Oh,
or you could have
jeez.
played it off.
I want to professionally be
King
known
Louis
as
over here.
KL Alvarez.
Oh,
That's it.
see, that's okay. KL.
Yeah. But all right. So
Yeah.
I'll never watch this movie. I'll never recommend this movie. By principle, I will not give it a negative number, but I will give it a 0 because again, there's
Oh, come
no,
on.
because I personally, again, I would never watch it again. I struggled to watch it the first time. I would never recommend it to anyone. If they say, "Hey, I'm going to watch it," I'm like, if you catch it in the movie theater, maybe it'll be better, but don't stream it. I'll give one that. Maybe it'll be better in the theater. But I will give it a 0 because again, I have nothing. Like I just won't. You know what? I talked myself into it. I will give it a 0.5 because I did like I like the opening credits. I like the opening credits and it worked in the opening credits. So it will be a 0.5 from yours truly, Kevin Louis Alvarez.
Dang, that boy just put his whole name out there.
I just realized before we sign off here.
Wait, his song's not done yet.
There we go.
So in the beginning, I was talking about how it was, I had a hard time with the childhood trauma of aspect of the film, and you guys didn't really respond to that. Are you?
Oh, I'm not trying to get into that, bro.
No, I just mean like when you do it doesn't bother you. I mean, it's okay if it's just a. I mean, I think that's the weird thing. Like I've seen other movies where it's like adults and kids, and it doesn't bother me because they still have like someone at least there that's trying to protect them, right? They're not alone. I think what got me about this one is that they were all alone, you know. So it was the heightened level of vulnerability that really made it challenging for me.
I think if narratively they would have pushed us more to realize that, like if we had seen the kids more, you know what I mean? Something I would have been able to identify with them. But the fact is, there was so much where there was nothing being said and nothing really being shown until they said something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they're kids again in here." Like there was no real connection narratively that they work. And once you said it, I was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? There is trauma there." But that's only me going by what now that you've said that. Like at the time I wasn't connecting to, oh, these kids are going through something scary. I'm like, oh, these kids are just stuck in this room. But then I would forget about the kids because I'm just watching a corner and I'm watching a TV upside down or I'm watching something else.
I'm just watching a corner, like a.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But,
I'm currently looking at the ceiling fan. I don't know what to do with this information.
I'm just staring at a right angle.
yeah. And then you would get a call, a 911 call, and then you forget about the kid again until the very end. And then it just, like I said, if they could have attached me to the kid a little bit, I would have felt bad for what the kid was going through. But I kept forgetting that it was even there.
Yeah, no, it got to the point where I was just laughing at the kids when they were turning the flashlight on and off. I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? Just leave it on. Like, why do you keep turning it off? Yeah. Like, the whole point of the light is to have light. You're literally turning it off to walk in the house in darkness, to then turn it on in a random spot in the house and go, oh, wait, this is not where I need to be, to then turn it off and go wandering again. Like, it's just so stupid.
Kevin didn't like it because it made him feel like he was in timeout. I'm just watching a corner.
Watch a corner. By the way, that's a quote for the episode. I was just
Triggered.
Oh,
Triggered.
man. Bro, I don't know why.
Talk about childhood trauma over here. I've never been triggered by the corner of a room so much than in this movie.
I wish it would have triggered me. Then I would have felt something.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah, that will definitely.
But
Kevin was a baby kid growing up. That boy spent days in timeout.
baby kid. Well, listen,
Don't look at me. You look at that corner.
I will. But I will tell you, I will, next time this man makes a movie, I will catch it to see if maybe this was.
Wait, what man?
Kyle
What man?
Edward Ball.
There it is.
KB. Mostly because he named the character after me in this movie. So
Put some respect on that full name.
All right. Yeah, please, if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to share, like, comment. The commenting part is really important. Again, if you like it, if you don't like it, if you have feedback for us, what do you want? Do you have suggestions for movies that we can review? We have tons of special episodes coming, interviews, different things. So yeah, start a dialogue with us. It really helps us out as our podcast continues to grow. We've come a long way from episode 1, but but we still got a long way to go. And your feedback helps us out. We also have a Facebook group now. Again, all of these links will be in the description. Check them out. Rate us, like us, subscribe, follow, comment, add. What else? And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Tomorrow is Mark's birthday. Happy birthday, Mark! Yeah. And peaches.
All right. That was a good time in there.
With that,
It's
we'll
been
see
real,
you next
gentlemen.
time. Yeah.
Love
Later,
you.
haters. Oh, he did it again.
Did it. I was about to tell him not to do it too.